Hey everyone, today I've got two very exciting pieces from Regal Robot to show you. I have their Wampa Puppet prop replica and also their special edition screen-sized wall bust. But before I take a deep dive into a bunch of footage of these two pieces, let's take a look at how these designs came to be.
The monster that was developed originally didn't work, so I had to jettison that monster. I had Phil Tippet create a little tiny hand puppet, which we were able to use in 2 shots. It was just a head, and we just did it at the last minute.
They angled the camera upwards using the overcast sky as a backdrop, and seeing the shots in the film, you never would have guessed that the Wampa insert shots were filmed in sunny California. Looking at the replica, you can see just how spot on the resemblance is, and that's because Regal Robot have direct access to the Lucasfilm archives where they can digitally scan the original and recreate every single detail as closely as possible. The whole piece is fantastic, but the mouth area is by far the most interesting to me. Staring up into the mouth with a flashlight, you can see jagged teeth, texture, and paint details all around. This is something I think any other company would overlook, but Regal Robot went through the trouble of painstakingly modeling and painting the inside of the mouth, and I really appreciate that. The Wampa sits on a wooden, museum-style base with rounded edges for a clean look, and all around the fur, there's a wax-like treatment which looks like ice crystals and snow buildup. It'd be easy to think that this piece is all white, but there's actually some subtle variations in color that are hard to show on camera. Around the back, you can see some small ears which also have that ice treatment on them. Lastly, under the fur, you can see the 2 small horns just peeking through. Now, onto the screen-sized wall bust. This piece is seriously massive. Against a backdrop, it's hard to gauge size, so here it is next to the universal form of measurement, a soda can. And here it is with me standing next to it. It's actually quite a bit larger than the costume that was used in the special edition reshoots, but it's scaled up to match their life-size tauntaun and represents what the Wampa would look like if it was a real creature. Now, you may be asking why there's so many different versions of the Wampa, so let's find out together.
I had a long talk with George, and he said, we're going to put in a snow monster that you never had. So you're going to see a few seconds of the snow monster that knocks Mark off the tauntaun.
There's a certain creative way of doing that. I mean, you can do it where you don't see the monster, and some people would say that's more artistic than actually showing it, but in this particular case, I really wanted to see the monster, and I felt it would add more tension to the scene and make it more interesting. So we were able to do that. I was able to go back, create a better version of the monster, and shoot the scene and all the cutaways to the monster and add them into the scene, which I think makes that ice scene make more sense than it did before.
This screen-sized wall bust is based off the creature as it appears in the special edition of The Empire Strikes Back, and it has a very menacing appearance. Compared to the puppet, the mouth and horns are much larger and more pronounced. I think many people might be partial to the original Wampa design, but I have to say I do like how this one is less Yeti and more otherworldly creature. Just like the puppet, this one has some slight snow and ice treatment that bring the whole piece together. This Wampa has a lot going for it other than just sheer size. It's also incredibly detailed and accurate to the original costume created by Howie. Regal Robot had access to the original face castings and were able to 3D scan and replicate the costume with incredible precision. The teeth, eyes, and horns in particular are standout features that all come together to create the impression of a real creature on your wall. Also included is a hand-signed plaque by Howie, the original actor and creator of the Wampa as it appears in the special edition of The Empire Strikes Back. Being fully licensed and handmade in the United States, obviously these pieces aren't cheap, but if you pick one or both up, expect to have a real grail in your collection that will be a highlight for years to come. You can also take advantage of up to 12-month payment plans via Partially, so use that if you want to split up your purchase over time. I'm very happy to have both of these in my collection, and they'll be displayed with pride for years to come. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this close-up look at 2 outstanding Wampa replicas, and I'll catch you all in the next one when I look at some other pieces from my collection.